Welcome to Tansson TV Plus. Of course, I'm Brandon.
And I'm Mom.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. We always love doing this.
Yes, so glad you could join us today.
Yes, and Mom, what show are we speaking about here today?
Today we're going to talk about Wizards Beyond Waverly Place.
Yes, this is a new series that airs on the Disney Channel and streaming on Disney Plus.
Yes.
And Mom, I hope that you're doing well and we can head right into it.
I am doing fine. Thank you so much for asking, Brandon. And yes, this is actually a sequel series for us. Basically, it's a show about a family of wizards, with the exception of the mom and the family.
Well, Mom, thank you so much for that.
You're welcome, Brand.
And yes, Mom, as you mentioned, this is the sequel series to the show Wizards of Waverly Place that aired in the early 2000s on the Disney Channel.
Yes. And Brandon, had you seen that show before?
No, I truly absolutely know nothing about Wizards of Waverly Place. I heard it's good, but I've never seen it.
Yeah, and actually, Brandon, I will say that I have never seen it before either.
But I love going through TV, spin-offs, revivals, sequels, all of the above. And so when I heard the show was coming back, it's like, well, I have to give it a try.
Yes, and I'm actually happy you did, Brand.
Yeah, and so Mom, what did you think about this first episode that we've seen?
I was surprised I liked it, which is really kind of shocking for me. But to me, it was a fine show. The storyline made sense. It was a little different. And so I thought that it was put together well. One of the things I did like about it is that even though I did not have any idea about the previous series, to me, it seemed like it could be a standalone series. And so I was able to I understood it and able to chance to move forward and watch it.
Yeah, and so as we mentioned before, this is episode one that aired on October 29th of this year, and the title is Everything is Not What It Seems.
Yes, yes. And that, and in fact, is the truth with this episode.
Yeah, and I thought what was really interesting, as you were saying, was that even though we have not seen the preceding series, that I felt that like within the first few minutes, I was able to sort of get the gist of everything, and also make some predictions as to what the original series was like.
All right, Brandon, what kind of predictions do you have for the original series?
Yeah, so first of all, to speak about this one has the Russo family all living in their house, um, and the dad's sister. So the aunt comes back, and she introduces a new student, and so that her brother will teach for wizard school. And so if I were to take a guess about the previous series, it's probably the dad Justin and his sister Alex trying to figure out how they could be wizards. And actually, it's probably was more so Alex. Like I said, even though I have never seen the series, I am pretty sure that Alex was a main character on the original, and I think the central character, from what I could pick up from this episode. And so, yeah, I mean that's what I'm able to get. Like I said, given that we've seen so many different, like I said, sequels, revivals, and all of the above, and I studied that.
Yes, yes. No, actually, Brandon, it sounds to me you're on the right track. I believe everything that you've said sounds very reasonable, and like this is something that could have happened with the original series.
But what I like about going into this first episode is, as you mentioned, that it didn't seem like we need to have seen the original to understand it. Of course, there were some parts like when Justin first appeared for the first time. Obviously, you can hear the audience clapping and cheering. Obviously, if we had seen the series, we probably would have understood sort of the significance of him walking back in. But nevertheless, minus that, I think everything was pretty easy to get accustomed to, and we learn that Justin, not only is he a wizard, but he is a retired wizard.
He's a retired wizard, but he's also seems like a teacher of wizardry. I guess that's the word. So yeah, because they made a point of saying that he was going to teach Billy, the new young apprentice, things, because Billy is there and Billy doesn't quite know all the spells and makes mistakes with spells.
Yeah, and overall, what do you think about Billy?
I like Billy. I did. I did. I thought she fit in really well. I thought the whole cast kind of fit in pretty well together.
Yeah, I really liked all of them, and I thought that they had great chemistry, and it felt very. Yeah, I think it felt very well put together, in that everything sort of. I don't know. I think everything just really flowed really well, and that I was like within the first episode, even though it's just about half an hour. Like I was invested into their stories. Like I was curious as to how it would continue to progress.
Yeah, I was too, Brandon. I thought, like you said, I thought it was nicely done.
Yeah, and I'll say that that is a pretty big feat for you because you don't really do supernatural things.
No, I don't. I don't. But this one, it just seemed to kind of flow together. So, but yeah, are you making predictions for the rest of the series?
Ooh, in terms of predictions, I don't know. I mean, I presume again we've never seen the original series, but I would presume that we probably see some more cast members from the original series pop in. Now, whether they will all show up in a single episode or whether they would space them out throughout this first season, that I'm unsure of. I believe 10 episodes have aired thus far, to the best of my knowledge, as of recording this. Uh, but overall, I think that there's probably going to be something that really ties them together, ties everyone together by the end of this first season. So probably we will see Alex back at some point in time, maybe for an occasional appearance here and there.
Yeah, I have a feeling we will. They spent a lot of time introducing Alex as a character, so hopefully that means that they'll bring her back a little later on.
Yes, and so that's my overall prediction. Mom, did you have any predictions?
No, I think it's going to come down to what the wizard Justin is actually teaching Billy. And so I think they're going to go back through some of the history, and whether or not they do it through flashbacks or whether or not they do it through just explaining. I think that's basically what it's going to be. And then, of course, he has children and how they're actually going to be involved because they're also wizards, but they weren't aware that they were wizards. And so it'll be interesting to see what they do with them.
Yeah, and I'm very curious as to how much we're going to see of Giada's character. And I say that because as of right now, based off the end of episode one, I'm unsure as to if she has picked up, that she is married into a family of wizards. I know the children know because Billy told them, but it, as of to me anyway, it feels unclear if she was able to pick up on it or if she's still sort of in the dark there.
That is a good question too. And yeah, I wasn't able to. I didn't remember whether or not they said she understood everything. But if they're going off the same premise, I would guess that the previous season, I would think that, or previous time that the show was on, I would think that she probably does not know because I can see at least one cast member in here not knowing.
Yeah, and in which case, I wonder how long that they would, yeah, keep it from her. And I found it interesting that the cover story for Alex is that she owns a dog walking business.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, and so it's definitely, like I said, very interesting. And Mom, would you continue, watching Wizards Beyond Waverly Place?
Yeah, not at this time, but yes, I would continue watching it at a later time period.
Yeah, I would as well. And yeah, when I had originally, like I said, sought out to watch this, I never had expected per se to watch beyond the first two episodes, but I'm very intrigued, and so I'd like for, of course, as you mentioned, for some more of the series to release.
Hmm.
But I definitely would be interested in catching up at some point in time and see what the Russo family's up to.
Yeah, we'll have to check in and see.
Yeah, and I guess for a double sided question though is, would you go back to the first episode, Wizards of Waverly Place from 2007, to see what that was about?
I'm willing to do that for this series. I really am.
But yeah, because I'd definitely be interested. Because I feel like we've seen a lot of shows where the first episode, the original, and the first episode, the revival, have a lot of parallels, and so I'd be curious as to what parallels those would be.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what kind of foundation they left in it. They made initially.
Yeah, alongside like some of the changes. But yeah, but Mom, like I said, I enjoyed doing this, and I'm not sure. Did you take any notes about the theme song?
No, actually, Brandon, I did not take notes about the theme song this time.
But yeah, but it did have one. Of course, very short, but it did have the names in it.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. I'll have to go back and take a look.
Well, yeah. Well, Mom, is there anything else that you want to say for the sequel series?
No, I think it's worthy of people watching. So yeah, no, I don't have anything else to say about the series.
But yeah, like I said, I definitely am glad that we had a chance to see it. And Yeah, something that I'm very curious about is more shows from the 2000s that will continue to come back in revivals. I think is so interesting because, yeah, even though this concept has been around for, yeah, for decades, yeah, of reviving shows and making sequels, is that I've always been curious as to what shows, yeah, since 2000 would be the ones to come back. I guess from my generation, and so it's great to see that that fans wanted this back, and now it's back.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Well, I said, Mom, I always love doing this with you.
Oh, same here, Brandon. Thank you for watching, everybody. Have a great day.
We'll see you next time.
Bye bye.